This is Montreal Now on CJAD 800. My name is Robin Flynn, filling in for Aaron today. As always, we are joined now by Dr. Joe Schwarcz, host of the Dr. Joe Show, Sundays at 3 p.m. on CJAD 800. He's also the director of the McGill Office for Science and Society. He is always on the show at this time. Hi, Dr. Joe. How are you?
Hey, Robin. Nice to speak with you again.
Likewise. Now, I'm very, very intrigued by both of the topics you're bringing forward this week. So let's start with the sports supplements one, because inaccurate labeling seems to be an issue specifically pertaining to some sort of orchid, like a flower, like the orchid?
Right. Yeah. Well, sports supplements, as you may know, are very big business. And essentially, they try to circumvent the law.
Oh,
Steroids, of course, are not legal. They certainly work in enhancing performance, but athletes are, of course, tested. Their urine is tested. So they're constantly looking for supplements that are legal and that can boost performance. And one of these that recently has received a lot of publicity is Area gerensis. Area gerensis is an orchid. It's a very pretty flower. And chemical analysis has shown that it actually contains a compound called dimethylphenethylamine, which in theory could be a stimulant. It's very similar to a naturally occurring compound in the body called phenethylamine. And the story of phenethylamine is trotted out every Valentine's Day because this substance is also found in chocolate. And, supposedly explains why chocolate stimulates and are the gift of, that would enhance love. There really is nothing to that. The phenethylamine actually is very quickly broken down in the body by enzymes. So anything that would resemble phenethylamine but is not broken down by enzymes would have some commercial, possibility. And so when researchers found that this derivative of phenethylamine called dimethylphenethylamine was present in this orchid, they started to market it as a sports supplement. Well, it turns out that, as is often the case with supplements, that the labeling is not only inadequate, but usually incorrect. And in a study that was just published in a journal called Clinical Toxicology by Dr. Peter Cohn, who is one of the world's leading experts on supplements, found that in 12 products that they purchased online, none of them had the dimethylphenethylamine as claimed on the label.
wow.
Instead, what they had was huge amounts of caffeine, which of course can, boost performance. It makes you alert.
Mm-hmm.
It also had some illegal components and things like synephrine and yohimbine, which are not allowed in such supplements, were found. And there were also other stimulants, and one of them was 1,4-dimethylamylamine, completely different. It is illegal, but it is a stimulant, and it was found in there. So the fact was that none of these 12 supplements that were bought online were accurately labeled. And even the ones that did contain the ingredient that supposedly, they should contain, according to the label, the dimethylphenethylamine, it was not found in the dose that was indicated on the label. So none of these supplements would deliver what they were supposed to deliver, and some of them contained dangerous ingredients. So it's just another example of how careful one has to be when buying dietary supplements, because these are not supervised the same way as pharmaceutical products.
Yeah, that was going to be my next question, Dr. Joe, is I guess Health Canada doesn't really put stamps of approval on sports supplements, right?
Right. I mean, these are regarded as natural products, and they really undergo a very, very minimal scrutiny. And all they have to show is that they actually do contain some natural product. Anyway, I mean, that it's a very complicated business.
Mm-hmm.
The fact is that you cannot trust the label of supplements. And in this case, especially the sports supplements, which people are taking to enhance their workouts. And not only do they not do that, but they actually contain some dangerous compounds.
Yeah, and you see all the time people loading up on supplements, not just to be competitive athletes. Maybe they're trying to have a baby and they're taking all these supplements, or they're just trying to be healthy or something like that. But I don't know if you ever watched The Big Bang Theory, but I remember someone making a joke about, taking all these vitamins and supplements is really just a waste because your body can only absorb so much. So you're just basically paying for expensive urine, was the joke they made on the show.
Absolutely. I thought I had watched every episode of The Big Bang. I don't remember that one.
Yeah, I believe it was Sheldon that made the joke, but yeah.
Well, yeah. Well, they got the science right on Big Bang. They had science advisors on that show.
Mm-hmm.
It was a brilliant show, really. I mean, it was one of those shows where the four cast members were just perfect for their roles.
Yep.
And every single episode was great. I mean, sometimes I just turn it on before falling asleep because it just puts you in a good mood.
Yeah, it's comforting. It's one of those comfort shows, right?
Oh yeah, I do either that or Seinfeld.
Yep.
Usually at 10 or 11 o'clock at night.
It's perfect.
And of course, they say that this is something you should not be doing because you should not be looking at screens just before trying to fall asleep. And I kind of now am buying into that because I don't sleep well. So
oh, no.
maybe it's because of watching those things, but it's a hard habit to give up.
Yeah, no kidding. I want to make sure we get this in before we wrap up, Dr. Joe. Butterfly pea tea. So this is tea that changes color depending on something else you add to it.
It's very interesting. I mean, people usually have seen the purple cabbage experiment, where you add acid to it and it changes color. This is very similar. Butterfly pea flower, beautiful blue flower, and the petals are shaped like a butterfly, which is where it derives its name. And it contains a naturally occurring compound called delphinidin, and this changes color because of changes in pH, that is, changes in acidity. And if you just squeeze in a little bit of lemon juice, it's a stunning change. Well, first of all, it's quite stunning when you take the tea bag and you immerse it in hot water and you get a brilliant blue tea.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's not what you normally expect. And then you squeeze in some lemon juice, and it changes into this crimson purple color.
Wow.
Quite appealing. It's a nice little experiment to do. And it turns out, as I learned from your producer, Alice, that there is actually a gin that is infused with this same substance, so that when you add tonic water to it, which happens to be acidic, it changes color.
Wow.
And so it kind of has the mood ring kind of an effect, And so there's interesting chemistry everywhere you look, which, of course, I like to promote.
Absolutely. And that's exactly what you do every Sunday at 3 p.m. on CJAD. Dr. Joe Schwarcz, host of The Dr. Joe Show, which, in my opinion, has the very best theme song of all the shows on radio. Because fun fact, Dr. Joe, I once had to memorize that song when I was in high school for extra credit because I was having trouble in science. And my teacher said, if you memorize this song, I'll give you enough to pass. And I did it. I sang it for the class, and I never...
Really? Well,
I can recite the entire periodic table of elements. I never forgot it.
Well, so you have now gone up in my eyes, several levels.
Amazing. Okay. Awesome. Thanks so much, Dr. Joe. Have a great day.
Robin.